lecture materials later. Not only presentation, but my comments on it also. Okay. So, you must understand any extra information will be recorded too. Okay, we will consider two questions. I will try to consider and briefly introduce you into two questions within this lecture. Medical informatics as academic fields and related scientific area to it, and a little bit move into practical implementation of one aspect of medical informatics, it's TLMEDS. Again, here, first question is theory. Second, I will talk theoretically about it, but it's more widely related to practice. And most time on most of lectures, we will have some similar situation when I will try to combine purely theoretical with some kind of implementation questions. Okay, so here is list of questions related to what is medical informatics itself. So we need to understand scientific definition, what is kind of science, relation with other scientific areas, and subfields. So here is listed multiple subfields, even list not complete within the last years. We have more detailed division and subdivision here of informatics on more and more specialization. So like it's very scientific area with extremely grow within the last decade, and especially last maybe 5 years. So new achievements, new specialization, specialities defined under general medical informatics. Even before we will touch medical informatics, we finally remember question from school: what is informatics itself? So we could find multiply definition. If you made Google search, you will find dozens, hundreds of different definitions. Okay, I prefer this short and simple. It's science and art of turning data into information. So we deal with data, but our goal get something significant from there, get information. So here is we have middle point where is main aim of informatics activities are labeled, and with final goal to retrieve new knowledge from information. And here is key problem within last decade, within the latest 10, 15, 20 years, because amount of data, digitized data grow exponentially, and I will show this chart later. And it's become more and more critical to retrieve something significant from this huge heap of numbers, letters, words, etc. So, informatics as academic fields, we can identify more complex definition with relationship to other scientific area. We can see as broad academic field comprising human-computer interaction, information science, information technology, algorithms, social science. So we need to join all this together to be success in informatics achievement. Just only about informatics. So here's the difference between computer science and information science and from informatics. So when we talk about computer science, study of complex system, information computation, using applied mathematics, electrical engineering, and software engineering techniques. So actually when we talk about computer science, we deal with computer system, we deal with computer hardware, and we interact with kind of software that's run over this hardware with aim to get us some data processing results. But when we talk about information science, informatics, it's just study of processing, management, and retrieving information in general, with or without computers. So, historical review informatics have much more longer history than computer science. Informatics born when computer does not exist. But it's too late. It's too late. And information technology related again subject study design, development, information support or management of computer-based information system. Again, Later, we will have separate lecture about information system. So, all these things was born before computer age. Informatics, information system, even information technology. It's theoretical study with kind of practical implementation. So, information processing could be implemented and deployed without computer, with pen and paper. It was done for 100 years, even maybe 1,000. It's slow, inefficient, but it's possible. So when we talk about informatics, we must keep in mind that it's art of information processing. It's more closely to semantics in a related area. And only with application computer science, we can get systems that say, help me with this lecture if I forget something, and help you to access data, for example, like your phone, etc. So, now, moving to medical informatics, and again, short historical review. I just will show about 35 years of history of definition of medical informatics. How change it understanding what is medical informatics just within 35 years. Actually, history a little bit more longer, fast papers, fast research has been done, even fast information system medicine has been developed like in 60s of the 20th century. But as scientific area, it was defined later, closely to the end of the 20th century, and here we have several definitions. So first of all, as you can see, almost 35 years ago, medical informatics was considered as science of using system analytic tools to develop procedures, algorithms for management, process control, decision making, and scientific analysis of medical knowledge. Students, please. What I am asking about respect and about ordering. You know, interesting? You can study anatomy or other subject with your phones, books, papers, and so on. Please. Okay. As you can see, even 35 years ago, medical informatics was not considered, so here we have nothing like about, even computer not mentioned here. Just data analysis question considered, no more. Not considered patient. No patient, no computer. Just we are talking about information processing. Okay. Same here in other author, medical informatics comprise theoretical practical aspects of information processing, communication based on knowledge and experience derived from product medical and healthcare. Again, I find, check here, same year, just in another author, in another textbook, nothing about computer. No, at least maintained communication. At least maintained communication. At least. Here it's, we can think about some technical applications, some technical features. And also we have nothing about personal patient. Okay? Just at the end of 20th century, same author that's from previous definition, we have new, improved understanding of medical informatics. We develop and assess methods and systems. So here is systems introduced word for acquisition, processing, and interpretation of patient data with help of knowledge that is obtained in scientific research. So it's like bifurcation key point, end of 20th century, when the means of medical informatics has been shifted from general theoretical investigation about general data processing in healthcare and patient in computer system has been taken into account as significant object for which is involved in scientific process itself. Here, since here. Okay. Now, in advance, several fresh definitions from several years. Here, understanding health information technology, health information management, and health informatics et al. So we can define several different points. What kind of features provide each of these parts of health informatics and how we build health informatics in general. So technology gives for us like tools. Under tools we understand not only physical computer, not only hardware, but under tools listed even software, networking, data storage, security principles, security subsystems, which is also included both hardware and software solution. So under tools, we mention everything which is related to information technology now. And under system, we are talking about another things like records, coding, document, policy, guidelines, administration, compliance. So things which is actually maybe even could not be related to informatics, but without this right part, we cannot talking about health informatics because they are represent actually order and they are provide order in data. Using the right side, we can use the left tools to provide digitized healthcare in modern time. So as finally, here we can define health informatics again in modern time. More often use the term health informatics. And medical informatics not yet disappeared, it's only considered as subfields of health informatics. So health informatics more complex and more general, more broad term which can comprise everything under all aspects of medical informatics. So health informatics, application of technology tools and information systems in healthcare settings or context. So, as for me, useful definition because simple and short. If you're looking about something more complex, okay, even from Wikipedia, last year version, maybe update until today, I don't know, I did not check, for example, today. So we can see health informatics, and here listed synonyms about how we can call this subject as information engineering, which is applied into the fields of healthcare, especially management and usage patient healthcare information. Here cited also that it's multidisciplinary fields, so it's not something alone. It's only a result of intersection multiply scientific area, and we can't remove any of it. So it will become unstable after that. And using health information technology to improve healthcare via any combination of high quality, high efficiency, and new opportunities. So, for example, also very abstract and very broad definition. And even from definition from Medline, so again, we talk same term. Interdisciplinary study of design, development, and adoption application of information technology-based innovation in healthcare service delivery, management, and planning. So, like, three different ways to define. Even if you can search about definition of health informatics, and you will find even different another term on it with only, but it's, every time we apply around this. So, as we are talking about its medical informatics, its multidisciplinary study, would be fine to at least identify main components, main scientific area, which is medical health informatics created on top of it, and maybe considered components or descendant subfields of medical informatics. So, first of all, of course, it's healthcare, which is main source for data and aim for implementation of our system, which should be built with help of computer science, and which will implement achievements under information science. Even if we talk about computer science, we must consider it as theoretical foundation information computers that we join together. So even in computer science, in the first place, it's theoretical approach for data processing, data storing, acquisition, storage, transmission, and processing. So even theoretical application, theoretical approaches it in fast ways, and that could be implemented, of course, with you say with particular information system. But many things, if we want to process data, we must understand how to process with required efficiency, and here we need something like principles, algorithms, theoretical description of algorithms, which could be obtained from information science, and principles for communication. So even if you talk about data transmission, okay, via Wi-Fi. So several complex algorithms has been used during this process. Theoretical algorithm, obtained from information science, implemented with computer science. Even if it will be far from health informatics. Even if we talk about just communication theory. An intersection of these three give us, among others, scientific area, not only health informatics in general, as scientific area. So maybe small step back into general topic, but I want to sign about situation how changed role of humans and computer systems within different areas of activities, from data transmission until research and development. As you can see here, a portion of where which could be served by computer information system and which is and where is responsible human staff members. But this one particular chart is significantly outdated, and within each new year has been developed multiply system which could help in top level of activity, like develop question related to therapy development, control, assessment of therapy application results, and even in scientific research. Each year, develop a new computer system which could help researcher during their experiments and so, and data processing of experiments. So, the role of computer has been increased, and the role of us decreased. As consequence, you must understand that the market will ask about more qualified and more stronger professional. Because if human doesn't have enough qualification, okay, I know about like dozens of different applications which could be installed even into smartphone and provide some recommendation about treatment. Of course, they do not replace doctor right now. There is no any rules, laws for this. So we are moving to like organizational area and law enforcement area. But here is main aim of scientific research: development of smart system which will help or even could replace physician in decision-making process. Not in treatment, in decision-making process. Okay, and here I will move back into possible implementation of and role of information technology and level of application of information technology within conventional diagnostic therapeutic cycle. So, first of all, we have patients ask for kind of help. We need to collect data about his current state, or we need to retrieve, recovery previous data about his previous condition, if he have kind of medical history within your facility, your office, your clinic, or if you have ability to communicate within other clinics. So first of all, we need to get data. There, left top corner. At the time, like hundreds, maybe thousands solutions already implemented. Different system for processing laboratory samples. If the patient will be asked to pass kind of laboratory tests, blood test or so, or to perform acquisition and processing medical images like X-ray or so. Here is above with green given name of information system, abbreviated of course. So on lecture information system I will talk more about this. As a result, the top center we have a large ellipse which will represent digitized data collection, like patient history, examination, medical images, so everything we could collect from patient, digitize and keep into digital medical records, electronic medical records. So again, all these things represent patient data. With modern capabilities to make examination, we can collect huge, enormous amount of data about patient condition. But it not means that immediately we will have better answer about what's happened. We need to get information from this data, so make decision about what kind of diseases happens, identify critical symptoms, and make conclusion about correct diseases for this patient. So usually such data stored within different medical information system and form electronic medical records. So I use this abbreviate immediately. Even with help of hundreds of different MIS, typically full responsibility to make decision to provide diagnostics left for physician right now. But in active development, multiply of system which could help or maybe in future replace physician in diagnostics. It's called decision support system or expert system. So again, like EMR, EHR, LMS, PACS, all these things in commercial implementation right now. Lots of solutions, you can select which you want, which you can buy, broad and up in your clinics. In active development under active researchers is decision-making process in medicine and development of decision support system and expert system. And implementation then, that system as part of medical information system or separate system, okay? Separate lecture will be about this one. Then if we have the final decision, we can create treatment plan, fill it within our medical records, within patient medical records for sure. Direct him to VARs, to NUCs, to implement this treatment plan. Okay, these things typically fine, supported and implemented within specific subtypes of information system, like use it to automate hospitals and clinics, clinical automation system. So again, if you talk about problem part, it's second step, decision making. Decision making still not fine implemented. Other steps, fine automated even right now. It's bit of new development every time delivered, but we have fine success result for point first and third. And we have growth problem with second, because modern technical equipment, laboratory equipment, and other allow for us to collect more data, which is made question for decision making more hard. If we have more data, it's only more difficult to select what is actually happens and what is fast, most important. Okay, if we back to a related scientific area, which is interact every time with medical and health informatics question, so we can form it from different medical specialties, from different medical subfields, as well as subfields for information science. And here is we can identify, for example, if we just consider genomics and compare to as subfields for biology, which is not directly derived from medicine, it's derived from biology as scientific area. And here you can identify a related descendant scientific area for medical informatics, biomedical, bioinformatics, clinical genomics, etc. Well, actually, clinical genomics is not subfields for informatics, not interact with informatics at all. So with the same Venn diagram, we can create more complex structure from different subfields. And here is listed from which I take from different textbooks, a list of subfields under general health informatics. As you can see, medical informatics now considered as sub-area under general health informatics, and even clinical informatics and subfields of medical informatics, and so on. And for different specialties like dentistry, nursing, veterinary, we have special scientific area, scientific specialization. Same for pharmacy, even public health. So for example, in university introduced public health medicine this year for Ukrainian citizens. Not public health informatics, public health medicine only. And for example, another approach to represent areas of activities and intersection for health informatics and subfields. So you can define for yourself how this scientific area could be related. And from all this complexity, I thought that with given number of roles, I can just provide some basic overview, theoretical overview, and I can give only short, narrow, practical example which will be related to even not for all these subfields. Of course, within yours, please, it would be fine if you switch off. Of course, you will interact with different aspects of health informatics within your clinical subject when you will work with medical images, on clinical department, laboratory results, on clinical laboratory subjects, and so on. So you will touch again, you will have experience with health informatics later, again and again. Now, examples. I still continue first question. Now examples, like I mentioned about almost all these areas of, aspects of implementation under medical informatics. Students, one more time, I am asking about your attention, please. So main pair, first and second section, main pair of activities and research and development within health informatics et al. So first of all, like practical implementation is development and implementation of hospital information system. So maybe this week I talked that it's available large number of commercial and even free open source solution. Process of implementation particular information system within relatively large clinical hospital required significant efforts, large budgets, and most of the time we required adoption from software side as well to fit with requirements of this hospital or local requirements, governmental requirements also. Second question, decision support system development, research in area of automated decision making. So how to make correct decision with given data set, which is contain information about patient health condition. And how to teach information system to identify most important and critical parameters which could be assessed, tested for the first time, and which have major importance in compared to others. Okay, aspects of medical informatics fields. So, when we talk about information system design development, we mentioned about investigation about architecture for electronic medical records, or how to develop effective electronic medical records, how to develop scalable, how to develop, provide qualified level of security, data protection, and how to keep it to being fast. It's not a problem when we talk about like keep 1,000 records or so. But what if we want to maintain a regional or governmental system to keep our record together from country, which is important in case of modern mobility of citizens inside country or even between countries. It's not a problem. In your case, you come from your motherland to Ukraine, and what happens if we need some kind of something, or I hope not, but if something happens and we will need your patient history, and it will be possible to access it remotely. So here is large, it's immediately become like enormous number of different technical and organizational questions. Second point, as I mentioned again, decision making. So how we can file decision within given data series from particular medical records. Both pair of both things required. First pair of things related to information technology itself, but they did not work without next pair, which is represent organizational part or a theoretical part of health informatics, medical informatics studies. It's standardization, it's development of different standards, code classification system, medical vocabularies, etc. So again, you can think that it does not relate to medical informatics at all. It were for years, but not now. If you want to have use of kind of medical records, if you want to use it CDSS, we must implement here standards, and we must use the proper terminology and vocabulary, which even could be internationalized, and we can use different terms within, and already use different terms within different countries. So as a result, we need something which could join last point with above pair and its medical standards could introduce ability to encoding different medical terminology and keep it within electronic records in a consistent way, or transfer whole medical records if it's digitized, that it will be interpreted and decoded and displayed in same consistent, correct way at remote system. Actually, also very complex problem, and second lecture I will try to a little bit talk about standardization, coding classification system, etc. And here is again example of different type, how we can draw different type of medical information and establish relationship between it In case if we talk about general historical data, like only clinical data, and which could be used as information source for knowledge base, which will be used for create decisions, so make reasons, and create conclusion if this and these symptoms. That means we deal with this kind of health problem. So we will be able to create diseases, formulate diseases and create therapy plan, and it must be accurate for particular person. So we must have collection of data, different kind of data. It must be created as case-based, converted into knowledge base for years. So this diagram has been implemented multiple times for years. Just it was done which way? To begin with textbook. It was long way, hard way, but there is no other solution for centuries. All this was formed with textbook. Now we can move much more quickly, much more faster with computer system, without printing data, just with creating knowledge base directly from case base, which is collected in digital form. Okay, to complete with fast question, and move forward, just several emphases about health informatics, like traditional and modern medical informatics, or health informatics. So I understand maybe it's sound a little bit futuristic, because there is lots of countries where we have huge problem only with traditional medical informatics, and even in Ukraine, it doesn't have wide adoption of required information system, and we have huge problem with digitizing medicine. But if we will look for high developed countries, Western Europe, United States, Japan, etc., so they are talking about traditional and new medical informatics, and within last emphasis made on prevention rather than treatment. So it's obvious that it's, if possible, would be fine to avoid something problem than try efforts to recovery from some kind of diseases, and if possible to provide self-care with help of telemedicine, with cyber medicine system. And we talk about information age of health here, and concentration toward public health in general, through public health implementation of public health informatics. Again, maybe I use a very high complex word or so, but if we talk about just sharing competent information, correct information about situation with what happens with, okay, maybe it's simple. To understand the importance of this, just need to check situation what happens with information about vaccination, with enormous anti-vaccination fake information delivery and sharing, which has happened within latest years, etc. So how it's, and as a result, we have situation when diseases which covered this will be completely eliminated, return back to us. Just because we have problem with public health informatics and delivering correct information, not a fake of it. And difference in technology, just to get like seconds of relax. As I showed for you definition of medical informatics from 1950s years, but I mentioned that first implementation much more work has been done much more early. For example, implementation of medical information system in 1960 in London hospital. So here is on photo delivery of main bag storage. Here is taken from truck by crane, capacity 132 megabytes. It's like something under microscope now. And in contrast, even outdated micro SD card capacity 500 gigabytes. Outdated because now terabyte available in market without any problem. So difference like about 50 years between this photo, no more. So we have advance in technology, huge advance in technology, but not in decision making. So we can collect much more data, but it's just give us problem to analyze it effectively. Because if you talk about encoding some critical characteristics, for example, critical system with HL7 data format, I'm sorry, several kilobytes per person will be enough. Not to keep his examination or medical image, but to keep critical symptoms and decision and treatment plan. Several kilobytes will be enough. So amount of vital data still not changes within this 15 years. Capabilities to collect data increase, but amount of data which can cost, die or life actually not changing. And here is problem. Okay, definition of subfields. This section I will be very quickly because all this definition fly around and very similar to definition of general medical informatics. As it's subfields, and then we talk about combination information science and clinical informatics, computer science and clinical science, which is designed to assist in management and processing data information and knowledge supported by clinical care. So, clinical and clinical informatics, we talk about application of health informatics within particular hospital or clinics, with limitation for clinical workflow. And then, biomedical informatics. Now we are talking about application of information technology and computer science as well, decision making, human problem solving, neuroscience, standards, politics, and human factors in practice of biomedical science, medicine, healthcare. So this scientific area, it's actually a little bit different. So here we talk about intersection of non-healthcare scientific area in biomedical investigation. Very often concentrated onto biology problem solving, not to clinical problem solving. Okay, bioinformatics and computational biology, similar to it, also involving the same of different techniques, including applied mathematics, informatics, statistics, computer science. So as you can see, every time repeated same subfields, same theoretical and practical components which can give for us tools for analyze data. And with aim to solve biological problem, usually molecular level. And here is we can surround it again with a Venn diagram and identify questions which is related to each one of it. Like, what do we have with health informatics, biomedical, and bioinformatics? As if I will talk about practice, like step forward to practice. Again, please. I'm asking about to be quiet, please. On classes, we will have some examples from health informatics, biomedical informatics, but not bioinformatics, not within this medical informatics course. You will like something on this in our university, but not in medical informatics. It's out of scope for our study. So our goal will be within health and biomedical informatics. And I will give example and practices. Also, public health informatics, defined as systematic application information, computer science and technology, the public health practice, research and learning. So as for me, learning here, it's key things. Learning of all citizens, all population about to be healthy, how to be healthy, how to avoid any possible problem with heels. We like far too complete, I think. So again, most important things, it's learning. And we must use as much possible technologies, and the information technologies give for us extremely different, huge number of capabilities and features for this. Especially, I find, in your case, distance education system module contain all minimum required information for each practice, and I strongly recommend for you review that material before you enter practical classes. And check lecture materials before, which is related to practical class topics, because periodically you will need to pass quizzes on different questions which is related to theory. And on practices with like 4 hours, we doesn't have time to discuss on this. And very often we have to go upon class simultaneously. With over 30 students, it's almost impossible to do it something efficiently. So self-preparation, self-studying, it's critically important right now. Okay, same for pharmacy, informatics omit because you are not pharmacist. Nursing informatics also. Again, we talk about same things like implementation information technology in nursing practice. So there are two different definitions from different agencies, but all they spoke about same things. Dentistry informatics, again, most important application for information system. For dentistry, here computer-aided modeling and design play important role. And like last point within first question is, in addition to health and medical informatics, it's like about definition of what is cybernetics and medical cybernetics, which is actually a very important scientific area, and even the latest achievements within medical informatics most time has been obtained with application of cybernetic principles with the application of cybernetics. So, in general, we can consider cybernetics as a disciplinary study of structure of different complex systems, especially communication, process control mechanism, and feedback principles. So actually, it's how systems work when it's interact with universe. Any system. It does not matter what we consider, from simple cell, through tissue, whole organ, whole organism, if we talk about live things, or same way, cybernetic principles could be applied for technical systems, if we talk about part of machine or complex system, whole, like part of computer or computer itself in general, or society. If we talk about single person as member of social group, or whole system that we will talk about this room, university, city, country, or so. So cybernetic does not make difference between this. Cybernetic consider all of it as one thing, system. And system which interact with universe. And as a result, we must cybernetic study question about what feedback, how system reacts on different changes around it. No matter if it's biochemical changes inside our body, or some like social, as I mentioned, anti-vaccination, for example, information campaign. How society reacts with it. For cybernetics, it's just two different systems, which have different condition and different set of parameters have been updated for this system. And we need to study possible reaction, feedback, and manage maybe system to to left it into stable situation. So actually, if you will consider, if you will looking for definition, simple definition of cybernetics, more simple definition. So it is a process created in stable state. Like if we interact with the universe, something happens, we provide some response. Like when we touch something hot, we try to take out our fingers. When we have pain, we want to take something to eliminate this pain. Anyway, so first of all, get back from pain source. If it's possible, then take some medicine which will like reduce pain level or so, if it's possible, and so on. Students, please. I repeat again, I'm asking about kind of order. I'm alone here. And I'm asking about mutual respect. Then you will learn that I will respect your classes. I'm sorry, it will be hard for me. It will be hard. And I apologize, but in this case, yes, I will be very good very often. In answer to this. So here we consider biological object again as and his interaction with some input signal, which via internal feedback mechanism generates some output. So and here is this simple diagram block. It's representation of any cybernetic system, which take input, generates some output by internal feedback mechanism. And this way, cybernetic consider anything, everything. So it provides like maximum level of abstraction, if possible. Of course, cybernetics model every time can't be precise. We will not be able to simulate this one particular cell, or we will not be able to simulate behavior of this one, maybe particular person. But for us, interesting, simulate complex of system. So like our similar cells or our person in this society, how it will be react. And here is given major application area of cybernetical principles, and especially possible implementation, which is interesting in telemedicine, decision support system, solar automation, and simulation. So what can give for us, what cybernetics can give to medicine, to healthcare, which kind of models, which kind of algorithms. And again, at a time available, multiply implementation of cybernetic principles within specific biological area. For us, we will consider only one of these points, medical cybernetics. So all other I will left behind. Here is internet, a very interesting area in bioengineering. Actually, bioengineering have a relationship with medical cybernetics too, because this way allow to create bionic replacement for example, lost part of body, like bionic bioengineering implementation of hands, legs, or in other organs. But I will consider only definition of medical cybernetics. So we can consider it as field of application cybernetics, which utilize concepts of physics to medical research and practice. And main topics under general medical cybernetics, which could be used for studying questions, and it's important area for modern scientific research which is actually related to health informatics. So first of all, system theory in medical science, search modeling of physiology dynamics. So that's what I'm talking about, developing different kind of model which will simulate one particular type of cells, or particular type of tissue, or some type of organs, and so on. Replace it with mathematical model. Actually, I must say, within, again, latest years, a huge success has been achieved. And if, for example, if we consider clinical trials, sorry, not clinical, if we consider process of medicine drug development, I must note that significant part of trial now done through model. Like preliminary trials now done through model without usage even laboratory animals to eliminate potentially wrong compounds. And only if we select, we limit our number of variability under some new medicine to some V-table, we can start with trials on animals and then until up to clinical trial. I sign. So we have, until now, developed a large number of different models and fine qualified model which can represent component biological structures in general, not specific, in general. So next, medical information communication theory. There is another way mathematically describe signaling process information storage in different physiological layers. Okay. Decoding, understanding of process, how humans thinking, how our memory works, with attempt, of course, to access to patient memory, to help with specific mental disorders and so on. And of course, it's related to development of artificial intelligence and so on. But also some kind of very dangerous and potentially very bad application grown from here too, like rewriting memory. Yes, it's here. Connection is again describe information processing in neural network related to previous and more strongly dedicated to human brain study. And decision theory, again, general principles of decision making, which could be further used in clinical decision support system. Actually, with aim on expert system here, because cybernetics have goal to develop autonomous system. So, if in health informatics we can talk and develop CDSS, which will help physician, medical informatics every time will have aim to create expert system and replace a human and so on. Okay, how does it look like practically? It was a lot of theoretical introduction. Practically, it could like much more simple. Here is typical data collection for a given patient, electronic medical records, electronic health records. It's one of possible hundreds implementation. On practice, I will show another system, not this one. System for pharmacy, for drug information and medicine. Okay, integrated system which combine now together patient data, his medical image, even some analytical skills with prediction. So here is red line predictable trend. System for dentistry or PACS, used to manage medical images. Within each one of these specialities and more, we have lots of different solutions which could have absolutely different user interface, even during you complete education. So again, reason why I do not see clear reason to show practical system. Actually, not have any practical reasons, because within 5 or more years of your education, new generation of system will come into commercial market and will be deployed in hospitals. Not everywhere, because life cycle of medical information system much longer than, for example, Android on your phone or Windows at this laptop. Like if they change it within 3, 4, 5 years, Android each 1 year, so medical system could stay in hospital for 20, 30 years and more. It's not a problem if they fit requirements and provide useful interface for staff and keep all necessary data. No reason to change. Why we need to pay $1,000 or maybe $1 million if system works good? Okay, now how many time left for us? 20 minutes, yeah? Okay, it looks like I will just be able to introduce integration related to telemedicine. So there we talk about some kind of practical application of health informatics, especially with aim on public health informatics, which could help us in delivery of care remotely. So, from definition, we can see its usage of telemedicine machine as usage of telecommunication information technology in order to provide clinical health care at a distance. So there emphasis again clinical health care, but not only. We can provide decision making, so just consulting service remotely. And it will be also successful implementation of telemedical technologies. And general terminology, telehealth and telematics. Under telehealth, more broad and cover clinical and non-clinical service involving medical education. So, every time when I'm talking about how we can use advanced words in simple case, in simple situation. So when I'm asking you to use distance education system Moodle to prepare for medical informatics classes, okay, we are talking about implementation of telehealth in our university. Maybe it's like very advanced high words, but so our necessary conditionment, we have medical information, we have distance education systems, so no problem. It's this. And also within other areas like administration, research, and so on. So, main objective of telemedicine, as I know very often students and persons imagine that when you talk about telemedicine, it's something transmission of like video conference between physician or video conference between physician and patient. For sure, it will be the application of telemedicine, but it's not minimal level. It's not main objective. Main objective is ability to transfer all kind of medical information, image, audio, video, text data between different facilities where physician located or physician and patient located, like from rural area ambulance to regional or capital city hospital, from patient home in emergency case to, for example, even that ambulance. Transfer data, send any signal, even alarm signal about, for example, health, heart disorders for patients with some chronic problem with heart, for example. It will be enough to talking about successful implementation like to medical approach. And second objective is support medical specialist collaboration processes in clinic, hospital, physician, patient, online and offline methodology. Like actually, telemedicine was born also years ago between even computers or even technical communication were made of. Describe clinical problem and send a letter with ordinary mail service. I'm talking about paper delivery. could be considered as offline to a medical process. It will not help in emergency case, but it could help in general. So again, this is the reason why I will present this chart. We talk about telemedicine, we talk about like 1,000-year history. Just that word was not invented and not was used in this meaning. If we want to write like description of medicine, recite for medicine, how to develop medicine and send to another facility, here we are talking about research of medicine. Of course, major advance has been started when technical communication tool has been developed. I'm talking about phone, I'm talking about telegraph even before phone, I'm talking about radio, and next advance it will be space medicine. So what do you get from space? Telemedicine, of course. So its ability. So here we are developing tools which could allow remote monitoring, bioradiotelemetry, and even remotely perform some operation like robotic surgery or so. All this is grounded space program. All these achievements. And of course, next level, it's wide application of telecommunication technology, which is due for us this communication tool. So, ask about a little bit classification for telemedicine. First of all, classes of system. Story for what means we retrieve data about patient from within all possible capabilities that we have. Laboratory equipment, imaging systems, etc. Collect that within dedicated system, no matter it will be computer or phone or significant. Just we need this. And then, when we will be in range of some communication channel, we can transmit it as requirements for some recommendation, consultation to another facility for assessment, for provide and physician. So this request will be queried in order and not immediately, but within some time when staff will be able to process it, review it, and answer it. Again, no matter what you use, even paper mail. So, remote monitoring and real-time interaction. With remote monitoring, most useful. Like we need to collect some characteristics of patient data in real time, in online mode. Could be performed inside hospital. Typical example, it's intensive care unit, ICU in hospitals after surgery, where multiply sensors attached to patient to monitor vital parameters and generate alarm in case of deviation from normal, and immediately responsible nursing staff or physician could provide reanimation processes. Or also remote monitoring, personal monitoring when patient with chronic diseases could have some kind of sensor or keep it at home or wearable or even as kind of implant, which is more and more widely used within the last years in implantology technology when the event sensor has been implanted inside body and could provide some, could serve some information or generate alarm signal. And real-time telemedical system when performing interaction between patient and provider or to physician in real time. So, oral conversation with phone, video conference through internet, yes, it will be this case. As a classification, we have a lot of by function, consultation, control parameters, distance learning, again, distance learning in this list. In hospital, out hospital monitoring, view radio telemetry, and so on. Scale, home, hospital, city, region. So if we want to more classification, we can invent classification more. Okay, how it look like practically? Typical imagination will be like this one: video conference with discussion, clinical case. Of course, it's possible. But it's like, as for me, it's just high-cost solution with relatively low effort. This solution will provide much more effects practically if we can bring this technology into rural area. Of course, I understand sometimes we can have problem maybe even to charge this tablet and keep it repaired in case of damage. But here is also we will talk about successful implementation of telemedical technologies. If we will be able to do this, so we have conclusions that something wrong happened, and we want to send request to colleagues in central hospital, regional hospital, capital hospital, and got response. So here is key points. We still need, very often we will need diagnostic equipment and remote area to get observation, to get examination. If we will not be able to obtain this image, ability to provide some consultation will be reduced critically. And for example, so here is what various problem in Ukraine, for example, is to have fine equipped ambulances in rural area. So I met this personally the situation when 50 kilometers from Chernobyl, it doesn't have not only MRT but conventional CT. It was necessary, vital necessary to get at least CT scan, but it doesn't have this system. And it was not, it doesn't have any abilities to make transportation for that patient for this 50 kilometers. Okay, possible implementation. How we can implement, even low-cost, outdated computer could be used as access point to collect some data. All possible. Here listed only cameras and internet connection, but we can use any available equipment that have digital interfaces. It could be connected to computer to create like telemedical workstation in a remote area. Just we need this basic equipment. If we have enough money, okay, no problem. We can order something like this. High-cost solution, special portable complexes, consulting station, and so on. So, and even like below we have its marketing rendering, but above it's live real system, which is already work. I think in Japan. And every time again we need some kind of source. We need sensors at remote site which will perform acquisition and transmission of information. We need sensor, we need communication channel. So, again, practical example how it could be implemented. First of all, simple way, it's usage different accessories connected to mobile phone, which is actually used almost everywhere. Like about more than 10 years, for more than 10 years, available several vendors developed this portable ultrasound machines. Even latest version use a wireless interface between sensor and tablet or phone itself. And so it's turned tablet or phone into ultrasound machine. So we need actually sensor and software being installed on smartphone also. And another different solution that can turn camera into microphone. We have a commercial solution for particular model of, not for all, for particular model of smartphones with specific camera, or hundreds of do-it-yourself solutions you can find on internet, how to turn camera into microphone. And we have other tools like to check our condition of eyes, heart rate, etc. But even some of these solutions have certification of and could be used as medical device, but a lot of not. So here is important points. We can buy a lot of accessories for smartphone to bring you to which can help us to obtain health condition, health parameters like heart rate or so. But only few from this has been adopted by different medical organizations, like for example FDA of the United States. And if you will check FDA sites there, maybe you find about 10, 15 or 20 such devices, no more. In Ukraine, nothing adopted. You can buy, no problem. But it's not considered as official diagnostic equipment. And here we move into, again, organizational and law enforcement area. And it's significant in case of clinical care to avoid claims that something were wrong because wrong device has been used. Okay, next level, even after post device. So we talk about different wearable device or even implants. So a diagnostic equipment which could build into different accessories and even into clothes. Again, lots of solutions available, but I only, even I don't know, even fitness tracker, even at least single one fitness tracker could be adopted as diagnostic equipment. So you can use it, you can collect data, but it will be not considered as official medical data. Okay, next level, of course, it's implants, but I will omit it right now, until now. And so to implement a real telemedical system, we need to combine all this together. So we are a point where government must take action. Government or maybe some corporation must take action because we need build system. So we need, okay, single patient could multiply a different sensor like mobile adapter or wearable device or so, no problem. But we need to collect it within some health center, like here in the middle, and would be fine if you will be able to transfer it to physician workplace, physician workstation. So we need some network system or health vault, and would be fine if it will be served by government and offered within country, especially if you want to deliver telemedicine service for a rural area where typically we have a lack of resources for everything. How many? Okay, almost 2 minutes. Okay, last topic about robotic surgery. I think you will process it by yourself because about 1 minute left. Just I want to talk that it's assigned 2 points. At the moment, it's not a fantastics, but most of surgery robots, it's more manipulators, which is guided by surgeon, by human, rather than self-managed computer system. So most time it's guided by surgeon with capabilities to perform atomic small operation using own control system. History also here take into account from same year that I began this lecture, about 35 years ago, and Most often used here is Da Vinci surgical system. No, for example, as I know in Ukraine, now installed single one such complex. It's actually almost nothing. It's very high price. Sometimes could be used these things, but more important to have, for example, 1 million maybe here great monitor and deliver them into rural area network than single ones in such system. But it's powerful too and can give for us non-coordination surgery. It looks like this one. We have two components: surgical place and working organs for this. So, okay. Thank you for your attention, and that's all.